Hi Year 1, so I am now going to pretend to be Eve, and this is my diary. And sadly, I've been asked to leave the Garden of Eden because I made the wrong choice. So I'm going to open with, in fact, let me use a pencil like you guys. So I'm going to make sure I've got the correct pencil grip. I should have sharpened this really, because sharp pencils always make even neater handwriting. So I'm going to sit my letters on the line, and I'm going to open my diary entry with Dear Diary. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever written in a diary before. Perhaps some of your grown-ups have. I'm going to do a comma because it's a bit like writing a letter. When you say Dear Diary, you're not really writing to somebody. It's not like a letter where it's going to be read by someone. It's more that you're talking to your journal or your diary. You're pouring your thoughts out, because writing really helps you to think about things. So you might say, Dear Diary, I was so tired today, but then in the afternoon something lovely happened. It's a way of getting your thoughts and feelings down. So you'd write, Dear Diary. Now, I'm not being Mrs. Berry for this piece of work. I am being Eve. I'm trying to think about how Eve would feel. Okay, so Dear Diary with a comma, and I've capitalised my D and my D. I'm now going to start down here. In a letter, sometimes we start directly under the comma, but just to make it easy, because you're used to starting at the end of the line. Okay, at the beginning of the line here, and we write all the way across the page. Using finger spaces, and we don't leave big gaps here. We make sure we write all the way across. Now, this is a nice chance to stress to parents that it is so important that the children sound it out themselves. As tempted as you are to give them the spellings, we are not looking for perfect work by any means. We would far rather that it wasn't spelt entirely properly, but that we can see that they've used their phonics knowledge to sound it out. So, for example, if they were to write, I used something, and they wrote this, used, that actually is them using their phonics really well. Udagravsd. Okay, so we would just tick that at this point. So in Year 1, it is far more about confidence, about having happy, confident writers that are keen to give it a try. So as much as you might want to rub it out, or as much as you might want to correct them, really try to just sit back from that. Even with handwriting at this point, I would say the most important thing is that they want to do the work. Yes, that they're trying hard, but that they're using those phonic sounds. Now, for key words like that actually they can't sound out, that's okay if they ask you how to spell. But, there's a few of those. So the, he, we, be, things like that. Words that come up a lot, so kind of keywords. But for the most part, I would love it if that they're doing the sounding out. So if they can't quite spell diary correctly, that's absolutely fine. So Dear Diary, I feel so, what could we say? We could say sad. What's another word for sad? Maybe upset, miserable, depressed, disappointed. I feel so miserable. Because, and don't forget, I always give stars for the word because. I love the word because. Because I have. Have is a tricky word, because it sounds like, if you sound it out, it sounds like it should be have, just have, but it's got that cheeky F that pops in. I feel so miserable because I have let God, with a capital G for God, down. Full stop. So lots of us are working on full stops. I try to think about it as when you're taking a pause in your breath. So I feel so miserable because I've let God down. And you take a breath. And it's a full stop. Okay. So I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but you can explain, the serpent, and maybe use an adjective to describe the serpent. So the crafty serpent tricked me, or the cunning serpent told me to the apple and I shouldn't have listened, and now Adam and I have been asked to leave and thrown out. Whatever will we do? You can make it quite dramatic, and maybe with a picture. Okay, so just like at Christmas we were pretending to be Mary, This time round we're pretending to be Eve. Okay, maybe you could sign it off at the end, Eve. And if you have a look, Eve is spelt with a capital E because that's her name, Eva, Eve. Okay, good luck with yours. But like I said, try and do some neat writing for me. Try and use those capital letters and full stops. But please, grown-ups, it really doesn't matter if things aren't spelt perfectly and correctly. It is more about their sounding out, using their phonics knowledge. It's about them wanting to engage, wanting to write. I really want them to see themselves as writers and happy writers. That's so, so important to me. Thank you.